Good evening. I want to welcome you all to tonight's showing of a new film in the series Out of the Dark, the mystery of film noir, which Melissa, Erica, and I have happily curated for FIAF here. And I hope you'll forgive me. I'm struggling with a bit of a cold, not exactly the plague in Camus' sense, but a virus nonetheless. Tonight's film is Julien Duvivier's 1946 classic Panique, starring Vivienne Romance and the great Michel Simon. It is one of the most uncompromising, truly darkest, and stubbornly cynical of all French films. Duvivier spent the war years in America and came back to Paris after the war, and this is his first post-war film. And its subject, as countless critics have pointed out, is allegorically or implicitly the French experience of collaboration and accusation and recrimination. It's based, however, on a pre-war novel by the great Georges Simenon, and more than any other movie I'm aware of, it captures Panique. Simenon's wonderfully disabused and cynical, and yet at the same time fond view of the manners of the French petite bourgeoisie. Some of you, I'm sure, have seen Marcel Pagnol's utterly winning stories of petite bourgeoisie manners in the south of France, The Baker's Wife, and so on. This film is the rebuttal of those films. It's, if you like, the antidote to them. The first 15 minutes are spent just studying those petite bourgeois manners with a cynical, as I say, and mordant eye for their claustrophobia, their cruelty, their petty rivalry, their gossip, and their vulnerability to hysteria. That's very much the theme of the film. The central character is played by Michel Simon, and he's one of the most fascinating figures in French film because he's simultaneously august, imposing, intimidating, and yet has a completely open heart as he falls foolishly in love with the Vivienne Romance character, who is a peculiar kind of femme fatale, as much abused as abusing, but crazily in love in a way that's unforgettable with the small-time crook who is in fact guilty of the central murder of the story. Her erotic rapture in his direction is powerful and passionately displayed. The cinematography of the movie is by Nicolas Hayer, who was the same cameraman and cinematographer who did Melville's Two Men in Manhattan, which we saw before. And in this film, as in that one, he has a kind of the capacity to use darkness, both for Hitchcockian suspense effects, but more profoundly for a kind of language of enigmatic motivation that makes this a true work of art. The last sequence in the film, in which a mob pursues the Michel Simon character, is unforgettable. Many people have commented on how much it seems to be about the French experience of collaboration, but I would suggest that in its hysteria and finger pointing and contagious rage, it's in lots of ways much more about the French experience of the immediate post-war, when everyone pointed fingers at everyone else about who was responsible for the crime of collaboration. Certainly all of those themes are entangled in this movie, and the final sequence created by the intersecting geniuses of Duvivier, Hayer, and Simenon, in which the guilty couple is shown going round and round like a couple in Dante into eternity, caught on a Ferris wheel, is one of the most unforgettable images. I beg pardon, on a roller coaster, is one of the most unforgettable images in post-war French cinema. 1946, Julien Duvivier, Panique. I won't say enjoy the film, but I will promise you that you will never forget it.